internal page number, the first page, page 10 of the
Page
notification.
10, okay.
The provisions of the Constitution.
Yes.
This means the entire provisions of the Constitution.
Page 10, Your Lordship. PDF page 10?
Yes,
Yes.
that's the notification, 14th May 1954. 2, clause 2. The
Page
provisions.
13, not 10.
13 of the.
Or page 13.
Yes,
Yes,
13.
yes, page
Yeah.
13. You're right. The provisions of the Constitution,
Yes. Yeah.
which in addition to Article 1 and 317, Article 317,
Yes.
because that's covered by 3.
Yes, yes.
Now, the provisions of the Constitution refers to the entire provisions of the Constitution.
Correct, correct. Yes.
Shall apply in relation to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Full stop.
Yes. Which?
Second-
The word
second-
have left the word out, which?
Yes, I'm aware of that. That second part says the exceptions and modifications subject to which they shall also apply shall be as follows.
Correct, correct.
So thereafter, the exceptions are carved out
Yes.
with regard to each part of the provision of the Constitution, which are either not to be applicable or applicable with modification.
Correct, correct.
And if you go down, it specifically says 356 is excluded.
Yes.
In case this was specific inclusion, they need not have specified 356 is excluded. Because by implication, 356, if not mentioned in the schedule, would have been excluded.
Well, with the greatest respect, when you say kindly read it, just see. Kindly see part 18.
The very fact that some articles have been
Kindly see
excluded,
page 18. Kindly see page 18. PDF page 18.
yes,
Which is this?
See part 18.
See part 18.
Part 18.
352, the following new clause shall be added. Above that,
correct,
part 818.
correct.
And therefore there are exceptions.
We are then at item.
But the part applies, but there are exceptions and modifications.
So part 18 applies, for example, part 18 applies,
Yes.
the modification is specified below that.
Yeah.
Then small clause B, 13, part 3, small b.
Therefore, there is no dispute on
The
that.
entire Constitution has been
356,
applied.
357.
Except what-
Exactly.
So these three articles of part,
Which shall apply shall be as follows.
Will not. That's correct.
Kindly see, and also it says the provisions which shall apply shall be as follows. Which shall apply? They are enumerating the provisions, that's all, Madam.
the next after that is what are the modifications?
Yes,
Or what is omitted. So
that's right.
mostly they are modifications, but some are omissions.
Yeah.
For example, in part 19, if you see,
Yes, I have it.
Article 362 and 365 are omitted.
Omitted, yes.
366 clause 21 will be omitted.
Omitted, correct.
Otherwise, the whole of part
Will apply.
19, other than this will apply.
That's right.
The approach is instead of going provision by provision and enumerating 395, they went part by part. And they said this whole part applies subject to.
But
But
ultimately,
what about those parts which are not specified as parts?
They don't
they
apply.
don't apply.
No,
That is a problem.
That's-
I'm not sure you're right on that.
You may not be right on that.
We have, in fact, in volume 1, we have the Constitution of India as applicable to Jammu and Kashmir, which shows that this is how it was.
Part 4 won't apply.
No, not at this stage. Not at this stage. Part 3 did not apply till 1954. Preamble did not apply till 1954. That's exactly the way they proceeded.
Well, that's the only.
And this is significant.
I think 15.
PDF 15. no? The part your lordships are referring to is?
If everything applies.
Yes.
Why were they specific?
Yes. So part 4A is omitted at that stage. 4A came later anyway, but part 4.
The one way to look at it is part 4 will absolutely apply, of course, but without any modification. But where there is modification, then
That's not the understanding of the government of India then. That's not the understanding of the state of Jammu and Kashmir then. That's not the understanding, Malad, of any authority. Then, Malad, now we are saying, no, that was all wrong. Actually, everything
We're
applies.
not saying, we just
And they don't,
discussing.
and you don't need consent.
Mr. Sibal, as I see it, as I said,
Yes.
every order
Yes,
extended different parts of the Constitution
that's right.
to Jammu and Kashmir. Now, if a particular provision is a modification, it says so. Now, it may be by provision wise,
Yes.
or it may be part wise,
Yes,
it may be by any method.
correct.
But it keeps on extending by the
Yes,
orders
yes.
which are passed.
Yes.
So first one was provision wise in a sense. This one is part wise because practically the whole part was to apply
Yes,
with certain modifications.
that's correct.
To the extent that it doesn't, is not to be applied, it is excluded.
That's right. That's the only submission. That's the only, and in any case, Malas, 1 and 3 are, 1 and the 370 are excluded.
That is from because of the first notification, separate clause C was made.
That's correct.
Clause C was made for Article 1.
So, Malas, this argument then doesn't take us anywhere because we are dealing with 370. We are not dealing with any other part of the Constitution. So we can, Malas, interpret the orders any which way you want, but it cannot touch 1 and 370.
The two major points to my mind are this. One is a submission that Article 370 has acquired a permanent feature of the Constitution.
Yeah.
That's the debatable issue.
Yes.
Which both sides will debate. Next is suppose it is not permanent. Then what is the manner of abrogating articles?
That's right.
Is that procedure followed or not?
That's correct.
The only two issues as I
Correct,
see it
correct,
in the
correct.
whole
But I'll
issue.
hope and try and convince you that it is permanent. I will try and convince you. I know, Malas, your lordship says it's debatable and it is debatable. There's no doubt about
So
it.
both things are debatable means both sides will argue this point
Yes,
out.
it's really debatable. But I tell your lordship, Malas, why it is permanent. Malas, now, for the moment, Malas, because we have only dealt with the Constitution of India.
Debate will also be on the second point. I look at a debate whether
course.
the procedure has been followed or not followed. They will say we followed the manner of abrogation.
Absolutely.
You will say not.
Now, Malas, so far I've only referred to provisions of this Constitution. But Malas, your lordships will have to look at the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir. Because that Constitution, Malas, was framed and cleared in 1957. So, Malas, Malas, Parliament could only exercise, if it takes over under 356, declares an emergency, it can only exercise the powers of the legislature. That's what Bomai has said, and I take your lordship, you can't do anything more than that. Right? Now let's look at the provisions of the J&K Constitution, which will give you an idea as to why it's permanent. Yeah, Malas, I'm sorry, my understanding is right. Before we go to that, Malas, kindly see the volume 1, PDF 132.